little bit this morning, especially you, Greg. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Always here for you.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, one of the things I want to do is I just want to wrap a little bit. I have the honor of speaking to I guess it's an MBA class later this evening. I asked the teacher, it's 51 students. Their average age is 25. And I've been invited to talk about earning financial freedom. So I thought I would share with you kind of what I want to what I want the big takeaway to be. And I want to get your advice on it. See, because I still have time to tweak it if I have to. You ready for that?
Yeah.
So basically what I want to go in there with is basically kind of with, hey, your grandparents had pensions. Your parents had 401ks, you could still work 40 hours for 40 years to live on 40%, right? Having a 401k, Social Security, those are things that will be out there. However, what I really want to challenge them is really something you've helped spark in me is, you could think about it differently. Maybe they should be thinking about generating a side hustle or a brand, online entrepreneurs. I think they can attack it differently. I don't think they need to take 5% and put it in a 401k and hope that works out. I think they can still do that, right? But I think if they spent 5 hours a week building a brand in something that they love, that could pay them for years. And frankly, if it works out, they could retire at 35. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think?
Yeah. So, I mean, it just depends on, what they're planning to do, where they're coming from. So if they're going to go into the corporate world, then a 401k makes a lot of sense because the employers match the contribution. So that's free money. So you definitely want to max that out if you're working somewhere where they match it. It also goes out pre-tax. So it lowers your taxable income. Employer matches it. So you want to max that out if you're in a situation where that counts. And then the second thing that you want to do is, when you talk about financial freedom, what that really means is having the income to not have to go to work. So you need something to replace your income that you would otherwise have to go work every day, either for yourself or for somebody else, as soon as you can. So there's a number of ways you can do that. You can do it with, real estate that generates positive cash flow. You can do it with a business that you don't have to be in every day. There's a difference between being a business owner and self-employed. Self-employed, you have to be there. There's nobody else to do it with you. Business owner, you have people, you have systems, it runs without you. So the income's coming in, on autopilot. Well, you got to still pay attention to it in different levels of autopilot. But at the end of the day, you want a business with systems, people, processes so that it runs even better when you're not there, as it should. And then, you still want to take advantage of like retirement accounts. You can, when you are a business owner or self-employed, you can have solo 401ks, you can have Roth IRAs. There's a lot of different things that you can, put away and save. The real question is, where do you direct those funds and what's the best, place to invest? And it all depends on, what you understand and when you're doing it. Obviously, real estate, is always going to be a good investment, income producing property. Stocks can be good, certain stocks at certain times. Obviously, everything is peaking right now. So not a great time unless you really know what you're doing. Market should continue to go up depending on what the Fed's going to do and everything. And then of course, cryptos are on the rise, but everything's a peak right now. So you got to be real careful with your entries, from a long-term perspective, because, things could come back and we could see some sell-offs and, corrections in the markets that may take a couple of years to get back to where we are now. So there's just really no telling. Real estate could be the same way, but interest rates are so cheap that, you can still get good cash flow on properties, and then they're going to pay themselves off in the long run. And you can potentially have a number of properties that are free and clear with, income coming in. So, that would be my general way to lay it out to people. A lot of it depends on what they're going to do, whether they're going to work in a corporate environment, which is generally what most MBA students are getting ready to do. They're being groomed for corporate America. So go to a company where they're going to max out that 401k, matching benefit to you, and take advantage of that while you're young, while you're working and getting your experience, so that when you do step out on your own, if that's your plan down the road, you've got a nice little cushion already put away for you.
Yeah. Greg, do me a favor. The microphone's hitting the edge of your shirt just a little bit. We're getting a little static. So yeah, just pull it away. Perfect. Yeah. So I think that's definitely something, because again, right, what are some things that we could safely assume, right? So first off, MBA students, they're getting their master's degree, right? most of them are doing that because they're going to either A, they're already working or looking to get a job for their man. So I think that's very wise advice. Get that company match always. That's what I did. Absolutely. But yeah, I think again, my grandparents, right? Pensions, right? My grandparents, as far as I remember, 3 out of the 4 worked in their job for decades, near as I can remember, right? I was young, but they were, I think 3 out of the 4 were union as well, right? So they just kept doing the same widget manufacturing over and over and over again. Then my generation, right? Kind of 401ks come out. You got to make your own choices. You set it the day you join and then you never look at it again, get the company match, all of that. Pensions aren't there a lot, but there are some that still have it. 401ks are there a lot. Definitely get company match. But I still think there's something about, because again, what was I told, right? You got to work 40 hours for 40 years to hopefully live on 40%. That was me, right? Not an entrepreneur. What I want to leave
and pensions are dangerous. So, that whole mindset of going to work somewhere and, work there your entire life and retire and they're going to take care of you, those days are gone.
Gone.
That almost doesn't exist anymore. And pensions can go broke, and a lot of them are, because there's no yield out there and they're having to take risk. And, we saw what happened to people's 401ks back in, the 2008, 2009. We saw what happened, during the dot-com bubble. Now the market's come back, but it's all based on the Fed participation. So if that ever stops, which it's going to have to, the Fed can't keep going forever, because, confidence in the dollar will wane around the world, and the Fed cannot let that happen. We have to retain reserve currency status. So they can only go so far before the rest of the world says, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. So pension funds are dangerous right now. They're going into riskier assets because they're not earning enough yield to sustain. And for people that don't understand how that works, pension funds, people pay into them like Social Security. And then, as people retire and we're living longer now, they're having to pay out longer, which means they need to earn higher yield in order to pay those out. And, pension funds go broke all the time. And, 2008, 9, a lot of them invested in, mortgage-backed securities, and that market went bust. So, anything can and will happen. But at the end of the day, the best investment you can make is in yourself, building your skill set, building your knowledge, and, building your ability to create whatever it is you need from an income financial standpoint down the road without having to rely on anybody else. At the end of the day, you are your best asset. It's what you know, and it's applying that knowledge to a vehicle that's going to generate income for the rest of your life, no matter where you are at any age. It's those skill sets that you can transfer into currency.
Yeah, and that's really the message I want to deliver to the audience. Or at least I want to try to, again, that's what I'm going to try to deliver to 25-year-olds is, you can do this way, but what if you took 4 hours a week or 5 hours a week and invested it in yourself? Create your brand in your area, do your thing. Because again, something, I never had a social media presence, right? No Facebook, no YouTube, no Instagram, none of that stuff while I worked. I had a LinkedIn page. That's because that's what you did. Now, since I've left, what has it been? 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, right? I have several other income streams, all producing thousands of dollars a month that I had no idea were out there. I just can't imagine what I could have done if I started doing this at 30 or 25 or 20, where these all would be, right? So what I want to get these folks at 25 to realize is, if you do the 401k, do that stuff, but also go create something for you. Because I really do think if you're 25 years old and you spend 5 or 10 years creating a little brand, again, it could be fixing up old Mustangs or doing Etsy or whatever it is. In 10 years, that will be something, and it will be side hustle income, at least semi-passive. That will be at least portion of the income you need to live, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of great examples and stories out there. It could be online, it could be offline. You don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to have a brand. You don't have to be a YouTuber, but those things have made it easier, faster, and quicker to get there and start. And, you've got to get no matter what you're doing, you need attention, you need awareness. And, the easiest way to do that is to build an organic following. The other way to do it is to use paid advertising, through social media, but it's going to come from social media online. Absolutely. One way or the other. So, that's your new currency, is attention.
Yeah. I think if you, again, I'm just thinking about being 25, right? You're 25, you have an MBA, you're going to graduate, you're going to go make whatever you're going to make. Live below your means. That is in there. Save, invest, buy real estate, all of that. But if you can just have this other little, it'll, because again, the first year, 2 years is hard to build. But again, you're 25. You're going to be doing this for 10, 15, 20 years. Think about what your following will be when you're 40. Again,
Well, and
riches
I
in
would
the
go the
niches.
other way around. I would say
Okay.
if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur and they want to do their own thing, and that's what they want to do, start now while you're young. Go
Oh,
take
yeah,
the big risk now,
for
because
sure.
you can get there way faster now. It doesn't take a
Oh,
long
yeah.
time. You can
Yeah.
build significant streams, more than you're going to make out of an MBA program going to work for
Absolutely.
Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley or any of those guys. I mean, right now, junior associates are only just now getting over 100 grand starting salary. You know, you can make a couple $100,000 online with a business.
Yep.
If you have the time and ability to focus. And, you know, they're young, they don't have kids, they don't have, you know, obligations. There's all kinds of things that they can jump into and take on, but they need the skill set first.
Yep.
You got to have the knowledge, you got to have, you know, a problem you're solving, a unique proposition. You know, I mean, there's so many people just creating YouTube channels around all kinds of different things, you know,
Yeah.
making 100 to 200,000 a year, you know, off a YouTube channel.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Not just from views, but
No,
other things,
things,
you know,
yeah.
sponsorships, you know, selling stuff. You know,
It's
things
funny you
like
bring that up. I watched, I think it's called Coffee Talk with Graham Stephan. Graham
Mhm.
Stephan obviously is really famous in the finance space. I think he made $6 or $7 million on YouTube. Never wanted to do sponsorships. He was telling Oppenheimer Group guy he interviewed over the weekend that he's done sponsorships for like the last 6 months or so, and he makes more off sponsorships now than his YouTube, and he still makes millions of dollars on YouTube. So crazy
Yeah.
stuff out there. One of the things I know, because I'm a part of your courses, thank you for adding your content to my course. You have
Yeah.
an online entrepreneurship course. So how can
Absolutely.
people find you? Go to your website, all of that stuff, because it's some amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's gregdickerson.com. All my courses are there. And, you know, like you said, you've seen them. They're short to the point. They show you exactly how to get a business up
Yeah.
and running quick.
They're just like you, short to the point, man. Just no fluff, just get it out. And they're $95, or you buy the bundle at $195 or whatever it was. It was crazy that you did that for folks. So thank you.
I made them accessible so people all around the world can you know, get into it and actually take the information and apply it versus, you know, the tripwire, you know, tricking somebody into something and going to the next level. These things, you can take them, put them to work and make money with them.
There you go. Yeah, folks, gregdickerson.com. Go check him out. I'm a member of his course. So go take a look. Thanks, buddy.